Let's do some experimentation with my 92 XFI, totally stock. Has air conditioning at it from a 95, optimum battery with brand new cables. Same old 1992 alternator. And the idle up air control for when you turn on your lights and fan and all that stuff, which is way down over, let me find it, a little cylinder thing right there, functions. And the air conditioning idle up control functions. I've got it set at 700 RPMs once it warms up and all that. Engine's hot right now. And this has been on for a little while, draining the battery. I'm down to 12.97 and going down. And we have an amp meter hooked up. And if you look really close, if I can find it on here, you can see there's a little negative to the left there, because I have some stuff on in the car. And there's a dot there, so it's 0.82. There's a lot of glare on this thing. 0.82 amp draw. So just under an amp draw, because the radio's on but turned down. So let's find out if we can turn that negative positive when we start the car up. Wee. And let's see, we got RPMs there. Let's let it idle down to 700 once it goes into proper loop mode. I run around with my air conditioning on in city traffic all day, 38.8 miles per gallon. Should sit at 700. Engine's totally warmed up. All the accessories are off. So let's go see what the battery's doing right now. This would be absolutely no load. Got 14.43 volts. And surprisingly, we're showing a negative 1.5 amp drop. How can that be? Well, I know one reason it could be, because it's an erroneous reading, because we're also showing drain. Let's go over to the negative side and see what we get. Totally different reading. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Negative 3.34. But since this is the ground side, that's actually charged. So we're staying around 3 over here. And we go to this side. Totally different. Let's see if we can solve the mystery. There's 2. And there's 2, but that's on the little wire. I'm not doing both wires right now. So see, you can't do it from the positive side. You got to do it from the ground side. Okay, and it's showing a discharge, but we're on the ground side. So let's go back and look at something here. Because all we're interested in is what's flowing in or out of that battery. So let's turn the car off. Turn the key off. And let's go see what it says now. We got 13.4 going down because the battery's absorbing that bulk charge you just got. And we're showing a discharge of 2.6 amps. So you have to wonder, where's that discharge coming from? Hmm. I wonder why my mode buttons aren't working. Amps DC, 40 amp, yes. Interesting, so let's see if we can figure out where my drain's coming from. This is on, but it doesn't drain much, but we can turn the screen brightness down to 0. And radio's off. Door's open, but I don't have an interior light. So where could the drain be coming from? Let's examine this further. I'm actually going off on a tangent now because this isn't what I was going to do. So we're showing a 1.45 amp, can't be a charge. Must be a discharge. Let's see, when we go around the main battery cable, it's still 1.43, and when we go across the little tiny, come on, it's the same. But now it's dropped and closed all the way, that's why. Now let's take the meter and zero it. Aha. We're getting a false reading from the meter. This meter may be screwed up. It says 1.49 and it shouldn't. I zero the meter. Now let's put the meter on there and see what it does now that it's been properly zeroed out. Aha. Now let's turn on the headlights. We're at 13.12 volts, and you can ignore that little 0.3, that's just induction. Headlights are on, and we are indicating, because we're on the negative battery, we're indicating a charge. So we know now that if the negative symbol's on there, that's actually charging. And if the negative symbol isn't on there, it's discharging. And my headlights are taking 10 amps. 10 amps. What do the parking lights do? Drops it to 3 amps. Okay, so this appears to be correct now. Let's restart the car. And again, because we have the tester on the negative battery cable, the indications are going to be reversed as far as charge and discharge. So let's see, negative, 3, 2, so we're showing a charge, not a discharge. Yep. 14.38 volts, up about a volt, from when the car's not running, and some sporadic charging, 2.8, 3.2, car's idling down. It's probably at 700 RPM right now. I'll have to turn my brightness back up now so I can see it. Hold on. And we're at 710 RPMs, okay, good. 14.45 volts. And it's showing that we're charging, which means we are actually discharging right now. 4.5 volts, 4.5 amps. Interesting. Why are we discharging? Let's turn on the headlights, see what happens. RPM stayed at 720. So the idle up control is working. And we're showing a discharge on the battery. We know the headlights are 10 amps. We're showing a 5 amp discharge. Yet the battery voltage is at 14.27. Let's turn on some more stuff. Loader down. Let's see, I want the air conditioning compressor off, but I want the fan up all the way. Can't turn the windshield wipers on because it's not raining and they won't move. So I can't test them also. Okay, we're dropped down to 13 volts, 12.9, 12.98, so we're starting to see some lower voltage going on here with that on. And we're showing a 11 amp discharge on the negative battery cable. We got the headlights on, blower motor on. Down to 12.65. Turn on the air conditioning. Okay, so the air conditioning idle up control is taken over, so they would have dropped a lot more than that. And we're showing a huge 20 amp discharge in the battery. Battery voltage is down to 12.36, 12.35. Now my cat's here. She shows up from time to time. We don't know where the hell she lives. So let's try this. Let's boost up the idle. Using air conditioning, idle up control. Let's turn it all the way up. So it's about 12.4. So I would tend to agree that these will not charge the battery with everything turned on at idle. Are they supposed to? I don't know, but this one won't. I turn the headlights off. And again, if it doesn't have a negative in front of it, because we have it on the negative battery terminal, that means it's discharging. If it says negative, it's actually charging. Let's turn off the blowers. Air conditioning. We're back to a 700 RPM, 680, 670, 660. So we're back at 660. And we're climbing up on the voltage. And we've got a almost 1.5 amp, 2 amp charge, 1 amp. So now I turn all that stuff off, and my radiator fan's on right now too. Let's see what happens when it kicks off. And again, that's charge, not discharge. And we jump up once that kicked off to almost 7, 8 amps of charge. So it is charging at idle, but it is not going to put out anything to run all those accessories at idle. I already knew this. That's why I put in an Optima battery, so I'd have tons of reserve power and new battery cables, because I was running into an issue because I'm running so low RPM, like on some back roads and stuff before I get to the highway, that if I run through 20, 25 miles of back roads, basically lugging this thing along, getting great gas mileage. And I have the air conditioning on and the headlights on so people don't run into me. And I have my DVD player turned on, watching a movie, and the sound cracked up. By the time I got to the end of the 20 miles and pulled up to a traffic light, my DVD player rebooted. My headlights were kind of dim. And to solve that problem, I didn't replace the alternator and all that mess, because it's working fine. I put in a good battery and new battery cables. So, should it have a new alternator? I don't know. This one seems to work. I mean, if I wanted to work better, I put a different pulley on it. But it is the original one. Maybe it's starting to lose it. I'll have to open up the books and look at the specs and see, but clearly this one doesn't charge until you rev it up a little bit. I couldn't see my RPMs, but I'll bet you I was at like 2,000 maybe, because it sounded about the same RPMs I was doing when I charged the air conditioning. And it has to be at about 2,000 RPMs to do that. So at about 2,000 it starts charging. So there you have it. Now I gotta finish waxing that thing. And I gotta fix that stupid awning. It's stuck. The little spring broke, won't roll up. So I can't possibly drive it anywhere.